Sunday is all about Mexico against England at the Azteca. Mark Ogden is here to give us the English view. We'll hear from Mark in a moment. But first, we'll start with John Sutcliffe, our ESPN Deportes reporter. There's a big delay because of the altitude. We'll blame everything on the altitude, shall we? John, are Mexico the favourites going into this?
Yeah. Well, the betting houses say no. Actually, England is a favorite in this game, but I do think this is the best opportunity Mexico has had in a long time to get something done in a knockout stage. It's not a coincidence. It took them 40 years to win a World Cup game of knockout in this same stadium at this same altitude. I can tell you, if the heat and the smog is the same tomorrow as it's been today, it's going to be very difficult. I've covered other sports. I've seen Roger Federer having trouble hitting a tennis ball. I've seen Tiger Woods having trouble hitting golf balls because it's not just the altitude. The higher you kick the football, there's less resistance. So I can assure you that this afternoon, the England club training at Puma's facility, they realize that everything moves different. It moves quicker. The higher you hit it, the higher it goes. So I do think Mexico has a great opportunity, but I guess the British invented the betting partners. The betting world says that England should win, but I think Javier Aguirre is very happy not to be the favorite team on Sunday here.
John, a lot of talk about the weather going into that clash. Confirm the kickoff time will be in the evening.
Yes, there's a big concern from the Mexican government that all the parties and all the fiestas in Reforma, in the Angels of Independence, they wanted to start the game earlier just because of that. They thought that if it was a noon game, they would have more control in the celebrating. And at the same time, FIFA had agreed to do the change because if you put the game at noon, it was 7 p.m. in UK time, prime time, you can sell your spots for a higher price. But finally, information came out. FIFA didn't like the idea that social media was talking about something. They haven't said anything officially, so nothing happened. Even though my sources tell me that FIFA had agreed to change it to noon, it became again at 6 p.m. Mexico City time.
Mark, you were here yesterday telling us about beetroot juice. Any other information you'd like to bring us on how they can deal with the altitude? Is there a feeling from England that they could really go out tomorrow?
There's a respect for Mexico and there's a respect for the conditions that they're in, but I think England also believe that they're one of the best teams in this tournament and they've got some world-class players. And I think team for team, England are the better team. England should win this game. But the X factor is the conditions. It's the altitude, it's the lack of preparation time, it's the flying in late last night, it's the uncertainty about the kickoff time. All these things have made it more of a level playing field. So there is a concern. But listen, England have played in Mexico City before. Everyone talks about the hand of God game in '86, but they actually beat Paraguay 3-0 the round before that. English players have actually played in Mexico and won. They're not playing on the moon, but I understand that there are differences, and it's been made a big issue because it's such a big game. But I think on itself, I can see why England are favourites, but I think there's a respect towards the Mexico team because, yes, they've won 3 games without conceding a goal. Is it 4 games now without conceding a goal? So they're a very good team, but player for player, team for team, England are the better team.
What are you expecting tomorrow, Jermaine?
Yeah, myself, I played there, so I know how it is. And I can only say, when I played there, after 30 minutes, when we came into halftime, I need an oxygen tank in a mask to breathe.
How does it feel? Like trying
on the field, you feel like, oh, you can run, and then after 30 minutes, it feels like somebody hit you with a hammer, in the forehead. And it's really difficult, and it's not easy to explain because you think it's football. You have to figure it out. And I think the biggest key will be how much is England ready to battle and hit that, the highest point where you feel like you're tired, but still keep going, because you will feel like your stomach hurts. Like they already said, like if you hit a ball, the ball flies way higher in farther. There's so many things that you have to put into the game. Just it's not just playing, so it will be difficult. That's why I believe that it will be Mexico will win this game, because Mexico will go the first 30 minutes full power. They will press. They will go do everything they can do because they know the conditions are on their side. So even if England tries to manage it and try to figure it out, okay, a little bit, they have to go and match the speed from Mexico. So Mexico knows that, and that's a clear advantage that they can play in Azteca.
We know England can play, well, I say we know. England can play better than they played against the DR Congo. Mm-hmm. There's no doubt about that. Now, can they reach a level good enough to win this World Cup? That's a huge question. But I know they can play better, and as Augie said, they are man for man better than this Mexican team. So when I watch this game, the main thing I'm going to be intrigued about in the first 20 minutes is not how they pass the ball, it's how they deal with the conditions.
Right.
It's how the players are looking.
Who have you got winning this?
Well, if England can somehow handle, and I've never played at altitude, as we mentioned the other day, so I don't know. But all I'm hearing from Jermaine and everybody else and people that have been at it is it can just cause you so many problems. And you can't play any sport, elite sport, when you're feeling like that.
Yeah.
So it completely depends on how England handle these conditions. If England are able to overcome, for the most part, the altitude issue, I think they'll win the game. But if they don't, I can't see how physically, over 90 grueling minutes in the Azteca, if these conditions affect them in a way that I know what they are worried about, I don't think they can win the match. So it completely comes down to the altitude and how they cope with it for me.
So you're edging Mexico, if I was to make you pick?
If you were to make me pick at the moment, I would go Mexico because I don't know how England are going to overcome the conditions that everybody, including John, have described.
I'm 100% with Craig. I think everywhere else in the world, I will put England. But playing at this altitude, I think it's an X factor, as Mark said. And we have stories about Brazil going to Bolivia and not being able to play after 15 minutes and losing. And they knew they lose the game, but they know they're going to win the second leg. That's what it is, and it's why. It's going to be very hard, and any human being will know now that the England player is going to suffer. They're going to struggle, and it's going to be very, very hard. And we saw Mexico against Ecuador, and the tempo, the rhythm that the Mexicans they exactly know what they're doing. And it's almost unbearable for.
If we had the budget and the time, I would have flown down to Mexico City and had a little run round a few miles.
Yeah, I know. We looked into it, and a one-way ticket was all right, actually. But in the end, we had to get Mark on. John, how big a party will there be in Mexico if they beat England?
Just not in Mexico, in the United States. I can tell you the most sold World Cup jersey in the U.S. is the Mexican national team, El Verde, the green one. There's no question. That's why the Mexican government was trying to see a way of moving up the game till noon instead of 6 o'clock Eastern, just because they were worried that the fiesta is going to last till the wee hours, till 5, 6 in the morning. There's a real concern about how people will react. Remember, we don't have a lot of superstars. We have Canelo Alvarez, a boxer, Checo Perez in Formula One, and Mexico is dying. The fans are dying to celebrate. They're dying to have a star in the national team. Remember, I just told you guys, 40 years ago, in this same stadium, it was the last time Mexico won a knockout round stage in the World Cup. And we all know that this stadium, with the fans, and also the smog, the contamination, is also a factor that's going to be against England. So this is the biggest opportunity Mexico has had in 4 decades to beat a world champion, Javier Aguirre said by far the Premier League is the best league in the world, and everything's set up to give Mexico an opportunity. You're going to see go after England in the first 30 minutes. They're going to try and make them feel that this stadium, this altitude, these fans are going to make them struggle. And what happens when the altitude hits concentration, and that's what makes mistakes happen. And I think the Mexican team is looking, if the English side is getting tired, mistakes can be the difference to see who advances to Miami next week.